Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below for ticket to ride Legacy, Legends of the West, or any other game. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we are going to be building rail lines across the United States from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Today we're going to be taking a look at Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West. This is the Legacy version of Ticket to Ride, where not only Alan Moon designed it, the original designer of Ticket to Ride, but also Legacy extraordinaire designers Rob Daviau and Matt Leacock this time. Those two did all three Pandemic Legacy games. Rob's done a ton of other ones. I've also done an interview with Rob recently about this and all the intricacies of designing this. If you haven't seen that, you can subscribe to the channel and check that out. It was just recently. But I'm going to show you the very basics of what's different with this without spoiling anything. So let's take a look. Now before I get started, I want to mention that I am not going to spoil anything for you. I'm only going to show you just the very basics of what's different, and I'm going to show you only what you'd know if you just read the rule book, which is readily available online. Now if you want to learn more about how to play Ticket to Ride in general, you can click up there in the upper right, and that will bring you to my original review of Ticket to Ride. I'm not going to go over all the rules there, but what I want to show you here is some of the components. The normal standard Ticket to Ride comes with little mini cards. You can buy bigger ones, but this version comes with the full-size cards. Here's the artwork with them, even full-size ticket cards, things like that. And the trains of the different player colors are actually slightly different. If you can see, I've got them on the side, so you can kind of see this sort of like box cars. This one has a big stack on top, things like that. So I wanted to show you the components here are great, the art's great, top quality. One thing you might notice, there's money. There's no points in this game. It's all about money. Now each player is going to be one railroad company, and as you can see from the colors of these companies, that's the color trains that you'll have. And this is interesting because over the course of the game, you are going to play you're going to play 12 games, okay? And as the games go on, you're going to have a certain amount of trains, and you're going to get more and more and more as the game goes on. So you only start with 20, so there's like small little mini games. And then as you get through, you're going to have even more trains than the standard Ticket to Ride. The games are a little bit longer towards the end. Now this has two things. It has a slot here that you open up, and you'll be putting things from game to game to keep certain things that you have collected and that you'll be using in future games. Then there's a little slit here in your vault. Over the course of the game, you'll be putting things in this vault, and at the end of the 12th game, the end of the campaign, you'll be opening this up for the final scoring. So there's lots of things that are going in there that you get and you are aware of, but you may not remember everything that's in there by the end. Actually, you definitely won't remember everything that's in there when you empty it out. Now the game starts as a smaller board that's sort of puzzle pieces that fit together, and we're here in the northeast. And the bottom half of this kind of goes down to the south, the Atlantic coast, and things like that. And as you can see, over the time, you're going to be adding different boards and things like that. Now again, the game's about money. And at the end of each game, you're going to get money because you're going to be getting coins over the course of the game. You're also going to be getting a bonus for how many trains remain. Now this is huge. When you build trains on the map, unlike the normal Ticket to Ride, you don't get points or money when you build. What happens is at the end of the game, depending on how many trains you have left, so if you run out of all your trains, you'll get 16 bucks. But if you have like 5, 6, or 7 of them left, you only have 4. So this sort of like balances things out and gives you a certain amount of money, which essentially is points at the end of the game, depending on how fast you've built or how many trains you've built. You're also going to total all the ticket values. I showed you earlier that they're worth money now if you get them. Same as before, you get money if you complete them, and you get minus money if you don't. Now, coins in hand, there are not that many ways to get coins at the beginning of the campaign, but as it goes on, there'll be many, many, many more options to get coins during the game. Now, another big difference here with money is if you build a route of your company color. So if I'm the red company and I build this route, I get $2. It's always $2. If the green player goes, I don't know, over here, $2. So you're incentivized to sort of focus or use the routes of your color, which is interesting because you're trying to get them, but other people are trying to also stop you from getting them. Another twist in this game. Now, over the course of the game, as you draw cards from the train lineup as normal, it might get refilled with one of these. There's a certain amount of these in the deck depending on the amount of players, and this allows you to place a new event. And so basically if I drew this card, it gets discarded, it gets replaced with another train card, maybe one of these, and then an event will come out. These events do all sorts of things. I'm not going to show you any of these, but sometimes they do like immediate things, like, hey, depending on what's happening on this board right now, this player does this, or all players do this, or something. Or it might be like, hey, until the next event comes out, you can do this or you can't do this, things like that. And so they really changed the game, and it starts at a certain size, and of course as the game goes on, things are going to be added, things are going to be subtracted, and the events sort of morph over the course of the game. But this is a very big difference that keeps things very tactically different in this. And the last thing I want to show you are big cities. If you go to a large city, you get to draw a card off the top of the train deck to get another train card, like a color card. Hey, I go here, I'll drop this off. Also, there's double and triple routes. Like normal, double routes are not available during 2 or 3 player. However, the triple routes are. So this, like if someone goes here on a 2-player game, it doesn't get blocked, for example. But that's pretty much all the main differences that I want to discuss as your first game. There's a lot more to come after as the game goes on, of course, but that's all I really want to show you at this point. Before we get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to let you know that Game Toppers Kickstarter 4.0 is coming soon. Well, they'll have 10 new thematic game mats, including Vincent Dutray's Lost Worlds Jungle Mat, and new accessories and storage solutions, along with custom thematic art on rails of the Game Toppers, and they're giving away the new Young Sherlock Game Topper package, which is great as a movable coffee table, children's gaming table, and for puzzles. Scan the QR code or go to GameToppersLLC.com to enter and win now. All right, well, there you have it. Now, let's talk about the things I liked about Ticket to Ride Legacy. So, first of all, I love that it starts small, almost like some of those small box games. You only have 20 trains. It's, like Ticket to Ride New York or Amsterdam or London or Berlin or what's the other one? San Francisco. I've played all those little like 15 to 20 minute Ticket to Ride games, and I love that it sort of starts with a small map like that, little trains. The games are quick. It kind of eases you into the games and the new mechanisms and things like that. And I just love that because it really gets you going. Like, you could play the first 3 games in one sort of session, if you will. And I like that it's sort of easy and quick to get going. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but there's an awesome surprise early in the campaign, even maybe after the first game. And it's just one of those things. These are the reasons why you play Legacy games. It's because you're hoping just to be surprised and be like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. And, they didn't disappoint here. There's some of that in here as well. Interesting, again, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just kind of talking about in mechanisms here, things that you would know if you had just read the rulebook. But the bonuses for building your rails of your own color are interesting because, now if I'm playing red, I'm more incentivized to go through the red routes instead of the other routes in order to get it. But that means I'm going to want to take the red cards, but then the other people know that, so they're going to try to keep them from me. But they're also trying to get their own. So even just that one little twist added a level of Ticket to Ride that it's nuanced, but it definitely changes the way that you play, and it makes the game feel different among a million other things that happens in this campaign, right? That I'm not going to mention. I like that they streamlined this without the scoring each placement. Like, you're not scoring points. There's no score track. You're not scoring every time you lay trains like normal. And I'm like, at first I wasn't sure about that. I'm like, before I played, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to like that. But actually, because there's so many other ways to get money throughout the campaign and through things that you'll find, it was necessary, right? Because it would have been very fiddly to keep doing that and all these other things, right? So at the beginning, it might seem like, there's not really a lot of ways to get money, but then as the campaign goes on, you'll see that there's many ways to get money. And so scoring each time, not having it there makes the game more streamlined, and I like that aspect of it. I like that when you're exploring the map, it's pretty much controlled by the players. Like, you're going to be finding new things, obviously. From seeing the overview, you can tell, obviously you're not playing that small map the whole time. It's going to expand. But I like that they give the players the agency, and it doesn't just happen. It doesn't, the players have agency as to what's coming up and things like that. I think that was kind of a cool decision. And as you learn things and as you open up the map and stuff, it's like an equivalent, if you're thinking of like, what's the weight of this here? It's like the equivalent of like the mini expansion modules. If you've played Ticket to Ride and you get some of these maps, like Ticket to Ride Africa and France and all these other things, like every time you get a Ticket to Ride map, it's like, okay, I got a new map, but there's something different about this. There's some rule twist or 2 or 3 rule twists or something like that. And it's kind of interesting because every time you're opening up a new map, you're obviously getting some of these. So as you go on, you're starting to be like, oh, okay, I got all these little different little, not mini games, but like little mini expansion modules that are sort of opening up as the campaign goes on. And I think that's really cool because it's like, it's like you're getting these little bite-sized differences, you're walking a step at a time, and towards the end of the campaign, you look back, you go, wow, this actually has a decent amount of stuff going on, a lot of things to think about, but it never felt overbearing, So a lot of people will be thinking like, who is this for, right? Like, if I'm a gamer, am I gonna like this? Yes, I think this is intended for people that like Ticket to Ride, that also are gamer enthusiasts. Would I wanna play through this with my brother, who loves Ticket to Ride, but isn't a gamer enthusiast? Like he loves Ticket to Ride, he doesn't really love any other game. Would he like this? I think he would like the idea of it, and I think by the time we got halfway through, I think he'd be like, why is all this stuff going on? I just want to play Ticket to Ride. I really think the people that, if you're a very casual gamer and Ticket to Ride's one of the 3 games you have on your shelf other than Monopoly and Uno and things like that, I'm not sure this is really for you. Not saying you couldn't do it, not saying you wouldn't like get involved and actually fall in love with it, and because they piecemeal the different things together, you might like it. But I'm not sure that's the actual target market for this. And you might find yourself becoming a gamer enthusiast through this, which would be awesome. But I think it's more for gamer enthusiasts, which is why this game's going to be sold at hobby stores, not mass market stores, probably also because of the price, of course. But that's who I think it is for, and who I think it might not be for. I like that there's many different strategies for getting money. I mean, again, there's tons of things to think about towards the end. I like that you could play this campaign multiple times. Now, I can't say that for all Legacy games, but in this one, because there's so many things that you don't see, I could easily see playing through this campaign 3 or 4 times. And sure, the overarching story and certain things that come out, you'll already be aware of, but that's okay, because quite honestly, the game is in a lot of the other things that don't come out every time. And so there's a lot of sort of like unique secret goals that you're going to be getting and things like that. And it really makes your game very unique from everybody else. And it would make every time you played this campaign different from everyone else. Now, maybe you'll have an advantage of like, there's one minor aspect of the game that you'd have an advantage of if you were playing it for the 2nd or 3rd time and other people had not played it before. But you would obviously know that you'd have that advantage, and maybe you don't do something specific. I'm being vague here on purpose. But really, you could play this multiple times and with new people. Because there's so much that you actually don't unlock, which is kind of cool. I like that aspect of it. I like that the events add tactical decisions where like, hey, I was going to do this. Ooh, I was going to wait to do that route, but now it's really advantageous because of what's coming on with this event right now. And it adds some more tension to the game. I like it. I like that you can miss games and you're still in the campaign. And you get compensated. I'm not going to tell you how, but it's not the best thing ever. It's not, it's enough that you're not out of the campaign if you miss games. Okay, and that's kind of cool. And I like that you could play. The best thing is, well, not maybe the best thing, but one of the coolest things about this is, like many Legacy games, you have a very unique board that's only yours that you'll be able to play with at the end of the campaign. And the way that they do this is very interesting as to which things stay, which things don't, how you reset it for the first time. They really thought through, how do we do this? So now I could literally play my copy with gamer enthusiasts that know Ticket to Ride, and I could teach them these handful of mini modules that are sort of automatically bolted onto here. And they would pick it up pretty quickly. Within a turn or two, they're like, okay, I got all these differences. That's good. This is actually good. You're playing like a medium weight game at the end. That's Ticket to Ride. Would I ever play this again with my brother? Would I sit down and go, let's just play this? Probably not. I don't think he would enjoy it as much because, again, there's a decent amount there's a lot more depth there. But I like that it's unique, and I like that they figured out a way to make it like a really, like a real game. That's a good thing. So I loved this. I want to play through it again. No game is perfect. So let me tell you about the things I wasn't as hot on, the things I thought would have been better for me personally. When you open the box, I did not show this on purpose. Typically when you open up a Legacy box, there's a bunch of boxes with like numbers or letters on them, right? Here, the boxes are actually named of like regions or states or this and that. And for me, when I first opened the box, I was like, huh. It was almost like slight spoilers where I was like, sure, I could tell the map was going to go in these directions and things like this, but I didn't really want to see all these names. It kind of slightly spoiled things for me. Some of the excitement of opening up the box, and I'm like, oh, well, I already know what's going to be coming over the next 12 campaigns on some of these areas. I didn't want to see that. So for me, I wish they would have just done letters or numbers. But that's just me. Maybe other people want to see all that. As you unlock secret things, there's some stories that you're reading, and like one side of the card you're supposed to read out loud, and the other side is secret for you. And I found that, yes, there is an overarching story that's going on here. It's definitely not the star of the show. And I found that the stories on the postcards, they weren't overly immersive. They didn't grab me. They didn't, so much so that like halfway through the campaign, I stopped reading the front of the cards. I just got them, looked at it, flipped it over, and read what I really needed to, what was important for the game. It's not going to be like an adventure tale like, you know, Forgotten Waters or something that has like ridiculously immersive writing. I found it, I mean, I guess it had to be there. There was a story. It does connect, but I didn't find it overly immersive. Plus, also, the script font they used on these postcards, kind of hard to read. They're small. Yes, I'm getting older. But just the script made some of the letters hard to read as well. I didn't like that. And also, if I want to play this campaign again from scratch, again, I can play the finished board, as I mentioned, now. But if I want to like play through the entire campaign again, I have to buy the whole game again. I know that probably would make absolutely zero economic sense for this to do this. Some legacy campaigns sell recharge packs. I would have loved to have seen a recharge pack here, where most of my components are already here. All the trains, the board, this and that. And maybe I get like big, large stickers that I stick over my puzzle pieces. So now I have the boards that still fit together. There's a big sticker on top of it, so that makes it back to what it was. And now when I put, you know, things like that. And so and just like all the cards back the way they were, things like that. I wish that was available, because now I need to buy the whole game again to play this through. Where, now again, the amount of people that play through a Legacy campaign more than once is probably very slim. The amount of people that get Legacy in general is less than normal, so I could see why they didn't do it, because, again, it probably makes zero economic sense. And if you're playing a Legacy campaign, let's say you're playing 4 people, you could say, hey, you know what? Let's split this 4 ways. Let's all chip in. Whoever wins the campaign gets to keep the game and play that end version, right? It's fine. It works. I'm nitpicking here because I really like this. Overall, I've played a lot of Legacy games. This is my favorite one. Caveat to that, Ticket to Ride is one of my favorite games. I love it. And this is exactly what I want it to be. As a gamer enthusiast and as a Ticket to Ride fan, this started small, got big, lots of replayability, final copy, cool, exciting things. It's exactly what I hoped it would be, minus some of these little things that I said, but overall, I absolutely love this game. So if you're a gamer enthusiast that likes Ticket to Ride, I think you're gonna love it. If you're sort of a casual gamer or just getting into the hobby, if you want to dip your toe into some deeper mechanisms that kind of get spoon-fed to you if you think you're ready for the next level, this might be the game that gets you there. I'm not sure that everyone that's in that spot, that this is the game for them, but it might help you get there. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships to board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table into a high-quality gaming solution, but they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with over 20 styles of thematic game mats in 11 different sizes from notable board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and real cool accessories, experience what thousands of other gamers enjoy by upgrading every game you play with a Game Topper system. Save hundreds of dollars on Game Topper package deals that are in stock now for immediate shipping at GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.